Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tactician's Monday Matches. So, my name is Imperial Travis, and this is where I feature some of my Tactician's battles against me on my that I have on my Discord server or on my live stream, depending on when I have them. So, let's start off with probably one of the most intense battles in which it comes down to a single hit point which decides the battle. So this is my opponent, Choco, and well, she has a bit of quite the team she brought out against me. So I'm gonna lead with Jasmine, my shiny Fermentis, or not Fermentis, Lurantis. I get the names of some of my Pokemon wrong. So I'm gonna lead with the Protect because I'm expecting probably a Fake Out, and my opponent brings in a Fly Pikachu. People. This caught me quite off guard, and it caught Jasmine quite off guard as well. But not enough to actually not survive. So she survives, she takes it pretty well, and proceeds to Leaf Storm the Pikachu out. I want to thank Will for helping me get this lovely Lurantis onto my team. So that's the end of the Pikachu. So now Choco, she brings in this Ninetales, shiny Ninetales. I love how all of my Tacticians seem to have all these shiny Pokemon. I'm lucky to have like 2 or 3 on my team, maybe 4. So she's gonna set up the Aurora Veil, and I'm sorry for the FPS lag. Nothing I can really do. This is all I can do. But Jasmine's gonna send out the Leaf Storm, and she's gonna do some fair amount of damage. I'm pretty sure if the Ninetales did not have the Aurora Veil up, she would have fallen down. She would have been knocked out by that attack. But regardless, there's nothing I can do to help my Lurantis here. Jasmine's gonna take the fall, sadly, and I'm sure that critical hit mattered right there. So that's the end of Jasmine. So out comes Terrell, my Zebstrika. So Terrell's gonna just gonna take his Moonblast because there's not a whole lot he can do. So he's gonna take the Moonblast. He's gonna lose some special attack, but he's not a special attacker, he's a physical attacker. So he's gonna go out there with a Flame Charge. Gonna do a fair amount of damage to the Ninetales. That Aurora Veil is really helping my opponent out. So Terrell's gonna take some hail damage. He's not looking too pretty, and I'm gonna go for another Flame Charge. Just want to make sure I can't be outsped by anything Choco may have. Not even if she brings in a little insane side. But regardless, that's the end of the Ninetales. Terrell takes some more damage. So out comes the Mind Shadow. So I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna probably fake me out. But he doesn't fake out. Or she doesn't fake out. And so I go for the Wild Charge thinking, you know what, I'm gonna do as much damage as I can, gonna knock myself out. I do not knock myself out. Poor Terrell does not even get to prevent the U-turn. So that's the end of that. Poor Terrell. He really wanted to go down swinging. Well, he went down swinging, just not in the way I wanted. I wanted to keep the Mind Shower. So that's the end of the hail. The Aurora Veil is gone. Now out comes my second equine Pokemon, Kindle. Kindle, my favorite Rapidash, and my first Rapidash ever to be used competitively. So I'm gonna get Sucker Punched here. That's not happy. That's not good. And I go for the Drill Run. Bam! Right into the Toxicroak, and it still does not go down. I'm like, oh crap. Well, he's gonna Sucker Punch me again. Nope, he does not Sucker Punch me. I go for another Drill Run, take out the Toxicroak, and I'm sure that critical hit mattered. Why doesn't the critical hit happen when I really need it to for those one-hit KOs? So that's the end of that. So now I'm thinking, okay, we got a shiny Greninja here. He's faster. I learned that it is indeed a protein Greninja. Sometimes I fight against Torrent Greninjas, but this one was protein. This one was shiny. It was expected. There goes Fort Kindle to the waterfall. So that's the end of Kindle. So now out comes Brianna. I'm thinking, okay, I'm a physically defensive Pokemon. This is a physically aggressive Greninja. I can take the damage. So out comes the waterfall again. Brianna's gonna tank that up pretty well, and what do you know? I get fletched. So that's the end of that. And guess what? This isn't a physical Greninja. It's a mixed attack Greninja. It's got special attacks and physical attacks. So that's the end of poor Brianna. She doesn't even get to do anything. So I'm like, crap. Okay, it's time for my fourth and final equine Pokemon, Keldeo. I'm like, okay, Keldeo, you gotta do something for me here. So he's gonna go for the Secret Sword, take on the Greninja, and BAM! Knocks out the Greninja because it was an ice typing. So that's the end of the Greninja. Now out comes Bruce Lee again. Or not Bruce Lee again. Out comes her shiny Lucario, and he's gonna go Mega Lucario. I'm like, oh crap, this is bad. What am I gonna do? So there's the end of the animation. Now I'm staring down at Mega Lucario. I'm like, oh, alright, I'm gonna go for a double kick because why not? I wanna see what I can do with a double kick. And, well, I don't do a whole heck of a lot. I'm like, okay, fun's over, and now here comes the psychic attack from the Lucario. I'm like, interesting. I was expecting a physically attacking Lucario. But, it's a special attacking Lucario. I can respect that. I run a special attacking Lucario as well. But turns out it's not special attacking, it's physical as well. It goes for the extreme speed, down goes Keldeo, I am doomed. So now out comes my Reshiram. Of course, because I gotta end my team off with the Reshiram, because this is my team, this is Team Impy, so I have to lead the battle, and she's gonna go for another extreme speed, despite the fact that she's faster than me. So I take some damage, I respond with the Fusion Flare, bringing down the Lucario. So now it's 1-1. Me versus the Mineshaw. So Mineshaw's gonna come out. I'm thinking, okay, what's it gonna do? What could it do? I've only got one move really, and that's for a blue flare. But she's gonna go for the high jump kick. I'm like, oh crap, I'm not gonna survive this. And I survived by one shot, and I respond with the blue flare, and BAM! The Mineshaw goes down. Oh, that was so close. 1 HP decided that battle. If that attack had been just a wee bit stronger, I would have lost. But that was the end of Choco, so that was a good battle. I barely lost, or I barely won that. Now here comes my next battle, and this one's not as evenly matched per se, but you know what? I say you can bring whatever you want, so I brought in a team full of Doges. Team Doges. So I'm gonna lead with my two Mightyena, Alu and Kodiak. If anyone knows where I got those names from, you had a good childhood. And my opponent's gonna bring in, and Luffy's gonna bring in a bunch of legendaries, and he's gonna lead with Rayquaza and Kyogre. Never saw that coming. So, intimidates her down. Rayquaza's gonna airlock, and you know, who has never seen a primal Kyogre? You know, this is probably the first time I've ever seen a primal Kyogre. So now the battle's about to begin. Now that everything is gone, the fields are set. Kyogre's got his little rain going. And now, you know what? Because we don't have enough weather, and because whoever expected a Mega Rayquaza to hit the field as well. So Mega Rayquaza's hit the field. Delta Stream is activated. It's a very strong wind. Kyogre's gonna go for the Origin Pulse. Alu misses or avoids the attack. Kodiak is not so lucky. Kodiak goes down. One shot. And Rayquaza's gonna go for the Dragon Claw. Problem is, after 2 Intimidates, his attack's not really that impressive. So that's the end of the Kyogre. Or not really the Kyogre. It's now up to Linda. Linda is probably the only Pokemon on my team that can even have a hope of fighting this team because she's the Mega on the team. So Linda's gonna go Mega. It's up to my Absol now. See what she can do. See if she can bring me back into this battle. Linda's gonna detect because I know he's gonna try and attack me. Kyogre's gonna go for the Origin Pulse. Linda's gonna detect, and well, Alu dodged the first Origin Pulse. She's not gonna dodge the second one. So rest in peace, Alu. So that's the end of my 2 Mightyena leads, and Rayquaza's gonna go for the Dragon Ascent. I'm protected, and someone is messaging me. And that's the end. But I go for a really powerful attack, and both Linda and Balto combine to take down the Kyogre, and I'm ignoring the phone right now. And that's the end of the end of the Kyogre. And out comes Rayquaza now. Rayquaza's gonna go for Dragon Ascent onto Linda, but thanks to those double intimidates, his attack doesn't knock me out entirely. So that's the end of that. Now it's down to Balto and Linda, see what we can do. I'm like, okay, let's see if we can at least bring down maybe the Zekrom. If we can bring down the Zekrom, I'll be happy. So I go for the knockout thinking it's going to be holding an item. It's not holding an item, instead it's a Z Crystal. I'm like, why does it have to be the Zekrom that's holding the Z Crystal? So it's going to be doing that. Yeah. Well, and I'm like, okay, come on, what? Why do you have to go for Linda? Why do you have to use a Z move on Linda? She's already on her last legs. And she goes down. So rest in peace, my poor Linda. So out comes the second Dragon Ascent. I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do here? And it's gonna hit Balto. It's not gonna hit him for much. He resists it. And now the Rayquaza is losing quite a few stats. I think that's the second Dragon Ascent I've endured so far. So now out comes Clara, my Furfrou. I'm like, okay, this is it's a physically defensive Furfrou. Clara's just gonna sit there. She's gonna go for the Cotton Guard. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can endure some attacks. Since both these are physical Pokemon, maybe I can endure some attacks. Well, he goes for Zekrom's gonna go for another Bolt Strike into Clara. It's really gonna hurt. I mean, it hurts a lot. The Cotton Guard didn't help me out very much. And now Rayquaza's gonna go for another Dragon Ascent going into Clara. I'm like, oh come on, show some pity for poor Clara. But she endures that thanks to those two Intimidates. Those two Intimidates are really taking their toll on Rayquaza. We lost a lot of power there from that attack. So I go for Sucker Punch and the Accelerock, trying to do as much damage as I can, and I knock out the Zekrom. So I'm like, okay, it's a good day. But unfortunately, Rayquaza is not having any more of my shenanigans. He goes for the Hyper Beam, brings down poor Clara. I'm like, oh, poor Clara. So now I'm down to my last Pokemon. I'm down to Laurentia, my Midnight form Lycanroc. So now we got the Groudon. I'm like, okay, this is over. But I have one final trick to play. I need to bring down the Groudon. I need to not let this thing stay up. I have a plan to bring down these two legendaries. If I can just bring these two legendaries down, then I'll call it a good battle. So Balto's gonna protect here. Because I know the Rayquaza's not gonna move because of that Hyper Beam. And now Groudon's gonna go for an Earthquake. Balto's gonna protect. It's not gonna hurt the Rayquaza, but it is gonna hurt Laurentia. So she takes this like a boss. Of course, not really like a boss. She actually survives on 1 HP thanks to her Focus Sash. But I kept her counter. So she goes for the counter and brings down the Groudon in one shot. Rest in peace, Groudon. So I'm like, okay, that's it. We did our job. We did very well. Palkia's gonna come out. I'm like, okay, this is not good. This is not what I wanted. So Palkia's gonna exert his pressure. I'm gonna just throw out the Accelerock and bring down the Rayquaza after all those special or defense drops and no longer having the Delta Stream to protect him. He's now gone. He goes down like a pancake. And Palkia's just gonna Hydro Pump poor Laurentia. She's already on her last legs, and down she goes. But she's a trooper. She did well. She knocked out Groudon. So out comes the last Pokemon for my opponent. It's going to be a Charizard. He cannot Mega Evolve because he already Mega Evolved his Rayquaza, so I go for the Accelerock, take down the Charizard. And that's the end of the Charizard. And this is the end of Balto. My team did so well, but in the end we just could not stop these legendaries. But considering we knocked out 4 legendaries plus a Charizard, that was a pretty good battle considering I came at him with a team of Doges. So that was a good battle on Luffy's part. So this is probably gonna be the next one. I'm gonna show off Stacey here. And this is probably one of the funniest battles that I've ever had so far, and I have to give Stacey credit here. She's definitely showing off her skills in this battle, and definitely shows off how much her team actually loves her, especially there's certain archetypes, and you'll see later on. So she's gonna lead with her Shiny Ninu King. And me, I'm gonna lead with Snowflake for the snow half of my team. So Snowflake's gonna sit out there. She's gonna go for the Blizzard. I was thinking of setting up the Aurora Veil first, but I decided to go for a Blizzard. See if I can knock out the Nidoking. I knocked down the Nidoking. It's down. That's the end of that chapter. So Snowflake is looking pretty well. So comes my opponent's Ninetales as well. I'm like, okay, so now we got double Ninetales on action. And what is it with these Pokemon? What is it with every Pokemon learning Toxic? Why does every Pokemon learn Toxic? What is it with Toxic? But in any case, I set up the Aurora Veil. She's toxicing me. I'm like, oh, come on, be nice. So Snowflake's gonna start taking some toxic damage, but neither of us is gonna be affected by the hail. So now it's a battle of whose Ninetales is gonna outlast the other Ninetales. But my opponent gets a crit through the Aurora Veil. I'm like, oh, come on. So I respond with my own Moonblast. I drop her special attack. I'm like, okay, that's okay. I can accept that. So Snowflake gonna take some more damage from the poison. I'm like, okay, I'm doomed. So I win the speed tie this time. So I get the Moonblast off before my opponent, and she responds with her own Moonblast as well. So we're just trading Moonblasts here, and I survive on which HP, just enough HP to go down to the Toxic Storm. Fortunately, down goes my Ninetales. So that's the end of my Ninetales Snowflake. So I send an Icicle, and Icicle proceeds to just smack heads with my opponent's Ninetales. So that's the end of the Ninetales. I think I have like 4 turns, maybe 5 turns left of Hail, so I'm trying to make the most of them. Out comes my opponent's Dragonite. She said herself that her team was exceptionally weak to Ice type Pokemon, so pretty much Icicle is gonna one shot all of them and just sweep. So that's the end of the Dragonite. It could not endure. I was wondering was it hidden ability Dragonite, because otherwise it shouldn't have fainted. But in either case, the Aurora Veil goes off. Now the Toucannon is out. Icicle's just gonna go for another Icicle Crash. Gonna smack down this poor Toucannon. And what do you know, Toucannon survives thanks to a Focus Sash and goes for an attack. I'm thinking, okay, crap, it's gonna attack, but the flinch happens. Flinch matters, and Toucannon goes down to Hail. So that's the end of the Toucannon. Toucannon goes down, and Icicle is still sitting pretty. I'm like, okay, I've got maybe one more turn of Hail. So I'm going, okay, one more Icicle Crash just to end it off. And down goes the Superior. So Superior goes down. That's the end of the Superior. Moving right along. Take some more Life Orb damage. And our Hail is gone, so that means I lost my massive speed boost. And out comes the Archeops that I told you about earlier. Now this is a funny Archeops. I was not expecting this Archeops to survive as much as it did. But Icicle's gonna go down to the Earthquake. I'm like, okay, Icicle's done well. She knocked out 5 Pokemon on her own. She did well. It's now up to Articuno to finish the job. Articuno's the last member of the Snow Team, so I'm like, okay, let's just wrap this up. And what do you know, it goes for the Ancient Power. I'm like, okay, that's going to do a fair amount of damage. But it gets the stat boost increase. So I'm like, oh crap, this is not good. So it's going to get super powered. I'm going to set up the Hail because you know what? I want to see if I can bring this. I just want to not. I want to just take advantage of my Snow Cloak ability. This is an event Articuno with its hidden ability. So that's the Archeops. It's gonna go for another Ancient Power. I missed with the Snow Cloak, and I activate my Snowium Z Crystal, Unfortunately, I make the misplay of the century and I accidentally go for Z Hail. I meant to go for Z Blizzard and I get Z and I accidentally clicked Z Hail. So, oh, there goes my poor Ninetale. Oh, not my Ninetale, my Articuno. All that setup, all that work, and I fumbled at the last second. Forgive me, Articuno. I didn't mean to. So I'm like, okay, Snow Team has failed. It's now down to the Sun Team. So Athena's gonna come out, set up the sunlight. Because, you know, she loves her sunny days. And unfortunately, Archeops is still standing. So it's gonna send out another earthquake. I'm like, oh crap, this is bad. So now I've lost Athena, one of the heavier hitters on my team. So out comes Victor. I'm like, okay, Victor, you got this. You got the chlorophyll. So you're just gonna go for a Horn Leech. You're gonna take some damage off, and the Archeops is gonna go for a wing attack. I'm like, okay, this is all right. I did a good amount of damage. I can easily knock it out. So I go for another Horn Leech, and what do you know? The Archeops survives on 1 bloody health point. Stacey, your Archeops really doesn't want you to lose this battle. So I'm like, oh, come on. Like, this thing has swept most of my team. Now it's down to my Leafeon, my Chlorophyll Leafeon. So I'm just gonna finish this battle off. I'm like, I've had enough of this Archeops. But the Archeops goes down. But it was a trooper. Stacey, you lost, but you put up a fight. Your Archeops did not go down without a fight. But those are some of the intense battles I had on my Discord server. And if you wanna come battle me, or if you would just wanna hang out, I'll leave a link to my Discord server in the description. Until then, I'll see you next time for Tactician's Monday matches. Bye bye.